close encounter or whatever kind, okay? Let me see. It was in January, and there had been snow. There was snow on the ground. It went over to a friend of mine's house over here on the far west side, along this north road here. On the other side of the road is a national forest. This is the northwest corner of Unit 4. And I think there's a portal kind of right over here in this area. And anyway, I left this house just after dark, and coming back, I was on my bicycle. And on my bike, because I live out here on the mesa, I carry a spear with me. And I carry a spear on my bicycle. Just for GPS, because I live out here on the mesa. Ha ha ha. Right? For dogs and whatnot. And I got this feeling like something was following me. And I couldn't see anything, but I had this, I could like tell something was kind of there and following me. And first I was thinking it was a wildcat. You know, really trying to kind of mess with the wildcat's head. Trying, you know, so I could make it home. No, I wasn't really any match for it. And I got to a point on the road where I felt like I was really kind of cornered. Got to a point where I felt like this thing was like right beside me, but I couldn't see anything, so I was on my bike and I didn't abandon my position. But it felt like I was several hundred feet up in the forest. If I would have just had to like close my eyes and guess my position, that's like where it felt like I was at. It was a real kind of separation of feeling. My position felt like I was instead of actually where I was at. And I don't really know what that was about. That was kind of another one of the little oddities that happened that night. There were at least a half a dozen odd things that happened. But like at the next intersection, I got bailed off my bike and I took up stance with my spear. I thought it was a mountain lion that might be after me or something. Took up stance with the spear, right, and kind of stood my ground for 30 or 40 seconds and nothing happened. So I abandoned my bike, pulled out my spear, and I took up stance. Right, because I thought the thing was going to come hopping out of the sagebrush at me, right? But I crouched down and figured this thing was going to come hopping out of the sagebrush at me. And sat there for 30 or 40 seconds and nothing happened. And it's like after that, I hopped back on my bike and started heading back home. So back on the bike, I still felt like something was after me. This was really kind of weird. I never could see anything at the time. I passed up this, the next guy's house coming down the road. This guy's got a lot of dogs, and all the dogs just, they all went off. And when I passed his house, the whole energy, the way, the whole situation, all the dogs just running all went off, shifted and changed, and I still felt like something was after me. Things felt shifted. I didn't really feel like I was in fear for my life anymore, but I still felt like I was being stopped. I wasn't moving that fast. There wasn't snow on the ground. It snowed a few days before, so all the snow was down on the ground. As I was cruising through there, I got this, like if you're driving your car, you can see your brake lights and your peripheral vision, like on the snow, and hit your brakes. You can kind of catch it out here on the side. I caught that one time, and it was just kind of odd because I was definitely on my bike. And that really caught my attention. It's kind of like, wow, what was that? Yeah, it was really strange. It was kind of like, wow, man, what the hell was that? I turned around, I looked behind me. I thought I saw something, but I wasn't really sure. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Cruised along another maybe a couple hundred yards, and then there was another pulse of red light. Bam. Kind of a pulse from behind. But that time it felt like something actually kind of like hit me. Kind of a boom, like a surge of energy kind of thing. This time it felt like something actually kind of like hit me from behind, kind of like a bouncing energy wave. That was kind of strange. I saw it, out here, and in my vision as well, felt it. Yeah, that was kind of strange. I definitely felt like something hit me. Boom.
is, the main dip down here in the bottom. Right when I got home, almost close to home, about 100 yards away from the house, down here on the bottom of the dip. I looked off out into the sagebrush, and it was where the place where the sagebrush was pretty thin out, pretty sparse. And there was maybe a third of the moon out, so everything was lit up pretty good. I could see really well. Looked out into the sagebrush, and 20 feet off the road, maybe, was this little alien gray was crouched down, and right when I kind of looked him in the eyes, wasn't really eye contact, but right when I turned to look out into the sagebrush, I looked right directly at him, right into his face, and he turned and walked, started moving back in the direction that he came. And when he turned, he silhouetted against the snow, took several steps. So it was real clear to see what it was. A little alien gray about this tall. Well, I don't know if he'd have stood up, he might have been 3 feet, something like that. But you have a crouched over posture and stance to him. It was crouched and moved a lot like a tree frog, kind of like jerky movements. As it moved slow, there were kind of like jerky movements. But when it started to hop, it was fast. They can hop 20 feet, no big deal. It's like, they're not frail little creatures. They're highly mobile, highly intelligent. They have the large eyes so they can see well at night. Very formidable creatures. And that was kind of freaky. It was like, wow, and I got home, it was kind of weird, because it was like, when I got home, I didn't really I was like, okay, you know what, I didn't really see that. It was like, okay, you know what, But then I started adding up all the stuff that kind of happened to me.
There were at least a half a dozen odd things that happened to me.
There was just too many things that were too strange in there that had happened. So, definitely believe what I saw. It was kind of it kind of rattled me. It was the freakiest, creepiest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
And it still kind of, still sticks in my mind quite a bit. I don't think I'll ever forget it for sure. I'd like to see another one of those critter stuff. I've heard of experiences kind of like on etheric levels and stuff like that, and or not really quite in this dimension or whatever, but this was fully 3D. This was fully here. It was really freaky. And I don't know whether I was going to be abducted or not, or whatever. The whole event had kind of a very sterile feel to it, very much like when we go out and radio tag animals, draw blood, and and let them go again. Very dry, very clinical type sort of thing like that. I'm not sure if he expected me to take up the fence. And I was really trying to fuck with his head, trying to get the psychological advantage, or at least delay him long enough so I could get home. Yeah, gotta watch out where you're going out here, man. New Mexico is a great place for abductions. I think I've seen them a few more times out here. You can catch their eyes at night, kind of shining in the moonlight sometimes, kind of like a lens. I think there's a lot of gray activity right here in this area. I know there's definitely been people who have been abducted. I don't know who's responsible for that. I didn't get abducted. I'm glad I didn't. I don't know whether I messed with his head enough to keep him from abducting me, or if he was just kind of chasing me down. Science experiment, I don't know. But it was really a freaky, creepy experience. When I got home, after I kind of recovered from the experience, I thought, I probably ought to write this down, so it wasn't so fresh. So I wrote it all down, and after I was done with that, I turned my phone on to find out what the date was, so I could document what time it was, or what date it was. And the date was 1/11/11, and I thought that was really kind of also, a unique, also something else to add to that experience. It was really kind of pointed to wow, this is really an unusual experience. Bye.